it's been a wild week in wrestling. Starting off, the world got buzzing about CM Punk being back in WWE. He showed up at Survivor Series, closed out the show, and cut a promo. So, him going back to WWE, and Triple H talked about this too in the press conference afterwards. And obviously, they had tension there before they left. But he was like, hey, 10 years, people change. And this made me think about our podcast too, is how you talk about how people change.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Triple H said in what I read.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He said, if you're the same person you were 10 years ago, then you did something wrong because we're all growing. And I thought, wow, man, that's cool to know that he gets it, because I say that every day, and that's my 100% always true on perspective.
Yeah. And I thought it was definitely a great way to put it too in a lot of ways, because if you're not changing, then there's something up that you need. It's like you're not adapting and you're not growing as a person. So if that says it, and I can only imagine not only Triple H has grown, and he said he's grown, and he's like, and CM Punk has changed too. So it's like, it'll be interesting to see how that all kind of pans out in a lot of ways.
Yeah, we all learn from every experience. You know what I mean? We learn what to do. We learn what not to do. We learn, consequences, and it helps us make decisions in the future because of what we learned. And I wouldn't be surprised if CM Punk was a lot easier to get along with if he was nice and humbled compared to before, saying like he had an overly prevalent chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, right. And like what you mentioned too before, being in that competitive mindset of give everything too. And not only that, back in 2014, he's trying to vie for the top spot and wanting to be main event in WrestleMania and challenging for the title and stuff and closing out WrestleMania specifically. And then he's having struggles. He's dealing with a lot of stress at the time and like just kind of exhausted and burnt out. So, I mean, a lot of that factor comes into play when you're that and you still have an attitude and you still want to accomplish more, and plus you're exhausted. So it's like time heals all wounds, and hopefully it'll be some interesting stuff happening in WWE. So.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's awesome that that CM Punk is able to captivate the interest of the fans for so long. He took like a 7-year break.
Yeah, almost 10. It's been almost 10 years. Well, 7 years from wrestling, but he's been 10 years away nearly from WWE. So,
and then it's not like, before his break, he was still one of the new breed.
Right. Yeah.
So it wasn't like he had a 30-year following behind him, took a break, and then came back and picked up where he was. He was still representative of like the new age, and for him to be able to keep people excited and tuned in and wanting him, and to keep being in demand like that, like that's really cool that he was able to do that on his own terms, and that's why he's back.
Right. So, definitely a big topic. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see how things go and how they build up to WrestleMania. Some rumors early starting on are that it could be him versus Steve Austin one of the nights of WrestleMania. So that's been the buzz going around lately.
Interesting.
And it's kind of funny too, because the last episode we recorded, you were talking about too. So people were asking, "Hey, do you think you should have been in the main event with Steve Austin at the time, or won the title back in 2001?" And you had a different perspective on it. Was like, I don't think it was necessarily at that point in time because Steve was such a star, and you kind of thought it more from a business standpoint at this point in time too, which I thought was kind of interesting. So
yeah, that's it. That's what I think of when you said it might be CM and Stone Cold. I don't think like a fan. I think like, wow, what a cool match, and start picturing them like action figures playing with each other. I think about the draw. I think about like, wow, is CM Punk in that position where he could be like pushed? Like, is he gonna be like the number one guy? Is that what like wow, like this is information that I get from observing, because I don't know, and I don't know that my perspective is anywhere near the same as WWE's or the same as what is right for business or whatever. So interesting is just really the way to put it. And, good for Phil. This sounds like a big money match.
It does. Sounds like big time. And it'll be interesting. I wrote a little article where it's like they have so many simple trajectories that they could take towards WrestleMania where people like wanted to kind of get complicated and be like, oh, what if The Rock comes in? And it's always good to have speculation, but they can really set themselves up for simple storytelling towards WrestleMania. And even if the outcome's predictable, it'll be interesting to see where the journey goes for some of these guys like Cody Rhodes, whoever, Randy Orton's back, who I want to talk to you about here too in a second. But like, I think that WWE's pretty well set up for WrestleMania already. So it's kind of neat to see.